Welcome to a world where air feels like water. Imagine stepping onto a planet where the very air around you is thick as syrup, where movement feels like pushing through deep water, and where sound travels so fast that a whisper carries for miles. This isn't some distant sci-fi dream. This is the reality of a high-pressure world, a planet where the atmosphere is several times denser than Earth's. Would life thrive in such an environment? How would evolution shape the creatures that call this world home? Would they be giant, towering titans or small, hyper-efficient, muscle-bound predators? Brace yourself, because we're diving into a hyperdense world, where air isn't just something you breathe, it's something you swim through, the physics of a high-pressure atmosphere. Before we imagine the creatures of this world, we need to understand how an ultra-dense atmosphere affects physics, movement, and even the very concept of life. 1. Gravity and air density, a double challenge. A high-pressure atmosphere usually means a planet with stronger gravity, meaning creatures need to fight both the weight of their own bodies and the crushing force of the air. On such a world, large creatures would struggle to support their own mass, forcing evolution to favor compact, robust body designs. 2. Sound travels faster and further. On Earth, sound travels at about 343 meters per second, but on a dense atmosphere planet, this could double or even triple in speed. Creatures would likely rely on low-frequency vocalizations, carrying messages over vast distances. Ultrasound echolocation might be widespread, as denser air makes sonar-like navigation more effective. 3. Fire and flight might not work. A high-pressure atmosphere could mean too much oxygen, making fires uncontrollable, or too little oxygen, making combustion impossible. Flight would be easier in some ways. Denser air provides more lift, but harder in others. Drag would be extreme. Now that we've set the rules of this alien world, let's meet the creatures that would dominate it. The giants that never were. On Earth, high atmospheric density might favor larger creatures, but here the rules are different. 1. Compact, bullet-shaped bodies. To move efficiently through thick air, creatures would likely develop dense, muscular, compact forms. They might look more like torpedoes than traditional animals, minimizing air resistance. 2. No towering giants, instead, heavyweights. High gravity and thick air would crush creatures that grow too large. Instead of tall giraffes or towering dinosaurs, expect powerful, low-to-the-ground megafauna, like a fusion of a rhino and a sumo wrestler. 3. Armored exoskeletons. The intense pressure might lead to natural armor, reinforcing bodies to resist crushing forces. Creatures could evolve cartilage-based skeletons to prevent fractures under pressure. Imagine a pack of hyperdense, gorilla-sized creatures built like tanks, charging through a thick atmosphere with ultrasonic roars. What would you call them? Comment below. The evolution of hypersenses. In this dense world, sight might not be the dominant sense. Instead, creatures would rely on sound, smell, and electromagnetic detection. 1. Vision would be limited. Thick atmospheres scatter light more aggressively, making long-distance vision difficult. Instead of eagles with razor-sharp sight, creatures would evolve large, ultra-sensitive eyes like deep-sea fish. 2. Supercharged hearing and echolocation. With sound traveling so efficiently, many creatures might use echolocation, much like bats and dolphins. Some species could communicate in complex ultrasonic languages, making Earth's dolphin communication seem primitive. 3. Smell as a primary sense. Thick air means molecules linger longer, making olfaction, smell, an even more powerful tool. Some creatures might use chemical trails instead of sound or sight to track prey. How would you communicate if your eyes didn't work well and the world was a dense, foggy mess? The predators of the high-pressure world. Hunting in a high-density atmosphere would require extreme adaptations. 1. Supermuscular, low-slung killers. Speed would be slower, but power would be immense. Expect explosive, muscle-bound ambush hunters. Imagine a giant panther with the muscle density of a crocodile launching itself through thick air with terrifying force. 2. Sonic weapons and electric fields. Some predators might use shockwave-based attacks, stunning prey with intense sound bursts. Others could evolve electroreceptors, detecting the nervous impulses of their targets. 3. Camouflage and invisibility. A thick atmosphere allows for heat distortion and advanced camouflage. Some creatures might manipulate infrared light, becoming invisible to thermal detection. Would you rather face a silent, ghost-like predator or a sonic-blasting shockwave hunter? Comment your survival strategy below. Flight in an ultra-dense sky. 1. Bigger wings and slower speeds. Flight would require massive wingspans to generate enough lift. Creatures might evolve bat-like wings, allowing slow, controlled gliding. 2. Floating gas-filled organisms. Some creatures might not flap their wings at all. Instead, they could use buoyant gases like helium or hydrogen to hover effortlessly. Think of giant, intelligent sky jellyfish drifting through dense clouds. How do you think sky creatures would communicate in this heavy atmosphere? Let's hear your theories. How would you communicate if your eyes didn't work well and the world was a dense, foggy mess? Would humans survive here? If humans evolved on a high-pressure world, we wouldn't look anything like we do today. 1. Stocky, muscle-dense bodies. Long limbs wouldn't work well, so humans might be shorter, denser, and built like powerlifters. Lungs would be hyper-efficient, able to extract oxygen from thick air. 2. Thick, protective skin. High pressure could mean hardened, thickened skin, reducing damage from atmospheric forces. Built-in sonar might replace eyesight, helping us navigate through foggy conditions. 3. Speech and language would change. Human voices would sound deeper and more resonant in a dense atmosphere. Instead of whispering, people might sing in long, harmonic tones to communicate across distances. Would you survive in a world where air is thick, gravity is crushing, and predators use sound as a weapon? Final, could such a planet exist? Exoplanet research suggests that super-Earths with high-pressure atmospheres are actually quite common. Some candidate planets include Globe showing Europe, Africa, Kepler, 22b, possible dense atmosphere, water world potential. Globe showing Europe, Africa, Gliese 581d, thick CO2-rich atmosphere, potentially dense enough to create extreme evolution. Globe showing Europe, Africa, TOI 1231b, a mini Neptune with a thick hydrogen-helium atmosphere. Could life thrive in these conditions? If so, how would intelligent civilizations evolve? Fire, would you visit a high-pressure world? Memo, what kind of creatures do you imagine thriving here? Drop your thoughts below. Thumbs up like if this blew your mind. Bell subscribe for more mind-melting speculative evolution. Science fiction? Maybe. But if the universe has taught us anything, it's that reality is always stranger than we imagine.